All right. Hopefully, sound is working okay. It looks like it is. We'll find out in a minute. So I'm Rick. I'm the game master for the Hammer the Gods podcast. Also, the perpetual host here, the person that they keep inviting back for some reason. I just work here. I don't know, man. And with me again, we have a special guest. Terry, you want to tell us who you are?
Hi, I'm TS and I write comics. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and to get blown up and make strange fern babies across the galaxy.
Only half fern.
Half fern, exactly. Half fern, half whatever the heck shade is.
Yeah, who knows? And speaking of comics that you write, I heard that you've got one currently in the works.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, you can head on over to zoop.gg and you can back my new comic book with Sky Hawkins' Tokyo Fire. It's an awesome dystopian street urchins into chaos type book. I've been pitching it as Akira meets Promare. So you have these two street kids who get roped into a battle of revolutions and radiation, superpowered criminals, superpowered cops, and they're just trying to make enough money to get out, and they get roped into this whole conspiracy as Tokyo Fire starts to burn. So it's a really good time. We're looking to fund issue 1. We need maybe 5 more backers, and that's it. And then we'll be able to get you issue 1, and we're going to do 7 issues of this in total. So head on over to zoop.gg and look for Tokyo Fire. My name will be there, so will Sky's. You'll see it. It's pretty hard to miss.
That's true. And I mean, sorry, but you're too late to be a really cool early bird backer like some of us. But, you could still get in. Or, if you just get one backer who wants to drop a lot of money, not a lot, but a decent amount of money, then you might just get it with one. Who knows?
Yeah, all the cool tiers, like the cool special tiers, like we had a cameo tier that got filled up pretty quickly. That was you could get yourself written into the book. You can still get art by Sky as a commission put on there if you wanted. That's still possible. There's a thank you page if you want your name in the book. We have copies of the script on there. If you're looking to learn how to write comic books, you can see our script. And a couple other cool things, including posters for the main cover. I did a cover. Our friend Mara Art, who does this awesome Blade Runner cover. So there's lots of cool stuff still, but you can't be an early bird like Rick and back us and get put into the book or anything like that.
At least until the second issue.
Oh yeah, the second issue we're probably going to go even harder with that. Well, we've been having a lot of fun coming up with the cameos that we've been messaged with already, so we might extend that and just have half the book be fans of the first issue.
All fan service. Oops.
Yep. Oops.
Excellent. Well, why don't we get into our game? So first off, why don't you tell us what planet we find Ken on?
Do I get to roll that up? How does that work?
Or are we just going to... If you have a random name generator that you like, but unfortunately there's not because it is a very rules light system, there's not anything for that.
Sure.
I always went with sort of the same naming convention that Aliens uses, where it's some random letters and numbers, but totally up to you.
Well, PC-318, okay, that's the planet.
There you go.
Mostly derelict buildings. At some point it was a civilization. I don't know at what point, not when Shade was abandoned there. But at some point...
Not by Breckett. He didn't abandon you there.
What? What's that?
Breckett didn't abandon you there. That was... Somebody else did that.
Sure. I think we can get into that in a bit. And abandoned might be a strong word. I have placed there to test my mettle, possibly forgotten. There's lots of ways to be abandoned on a building.
You had snacks, it's fine.
Or a planet. Yeah, snacks or dog food.
What's the difference? I don't...
Yeah, exactly. 6 to 1, half a dozen to another. It's all the same thing. So I've just been living out of these derelict buildings, waiting to see a ranger ship. It's been a little while. And by a little while, you can tell me how much time has passed since your last episode.
Well, let's see. What episode were you on? I don't even remember. because I'm bad at keeping track of this shit.
I was there once upon a time. I know it was probably a month or two now.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because if I can, I'll tell you a rough estimate of some bullshit that I make up, because I have no idea. Let's see. You were before the nudes. Free space waffles? Is that us?
No. Are we in subscriber only chat? I've been yelled at. I need to subscribe if I want to post something in this chat.
Apparently. Let me tell Artemis, because I don't have any control over that, and we're also currently unsupervised.
Artemis also might be trying to make some money for the channel. Like, don't knock the hustle.
One second while we have technical issues.
Oh no.
Well, just because I don't know how to change it.
Oh, no worries.
Helps if I spell the word right. I put supervisor only mode instead of subscriber.
Oh, we got a lot of people in chat. You know, I count that high.
Okay. It should be being fixed. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what episode you were on. We'll say it's been a handful of months.
Sure.
You know, somewhere between 1 and 5.
Yeah, so somewhere in there, I've just been surviving on my own, just hoping to see another ship, and I think that's probably when you arrive. What does it look like as you fly over my? I think shack is probably a little too generous of a word. Hovel, definitely my domicile.
You know, the Griffin looks very nice and shiny, and
I think you see Shade as you land on this planet, running up. I just look like some beggar of some sort with my hood on, and I look just gleeful to see any living being that isn't trying to eat me as I run up. But as I see you descend, there is some slight disappointment on my face.
Yeah. So as Rory is like landing the Griffin, Breckett isn't normally on the bridge, but just like happened to be up there, you know, having some coffee, kicking his feet up. And so like we see, you know, these ruins of these buildings and see somebody running up, and so like Breckett's like looking over the dashboard of the ship. He's like, "Oh, who's that?" Scruffy look. Oh shit. Didn't realize this was that same
because
planet.
You just remember me? Is that why? Like you're like, oh, I forgot he existed until this very moment.
Who knows? It's a mystery. One of the great mysteries of the universe. So, Terry, why don't you roll us a d6 for Ken, and we'll see what's been going on with him.
You got it. Give me one moment.
Very professional streamers here, both of us. Me especially. The most professional.
I wasn't prepared with dice. Last time we used a deck of cards, I believe, didn't we?
There's dice too.
Yes, I forgot. I got
For shame.
We're all good.
Second time you've been playing this. This is your second rodeo. You should know everything.
6. I did play. That's not actually true. I did play it once in between a group of friends. So this is fully my bad. Yeah, so I rolled a 6.
Yeah, third rodeo. There's no excuse.
Right.
So it says you share a meal together, but I'm gonna say that this was like the meal that Ken was eating before we arrived. And maybe you have like your version of Wilson from Castaway or something like that. So tell us about this meal, this sad, lonely meal.
So I have the dehydrated dog treats that you basically left me with from last time. And what I've been doing is rehydrating them and spreading them even thinner and then drying them out once again. So it's like barely a calorie per kibble.
Just please tell me you're not doing the Bear Grylls and rehydrating with pee.
Oh yeah, oh, definitely. What else would I do? But
That's
there's
the
only
flavor, I
moss
guess.
and what I can create myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I very solemnly offer you a piece of what I call stew. I'll leave it up to your imagination and what I am using to rehydrate this bowl that I've handed you.
Totally like some split pea stew.
100%.
Brecket's like,
Split
nah,
pea
I'm-
soup was made with dog kibble.
Yeah, exactly. And pea. Brecket's like, I'm good. We just ate, actually. And you can smell the food like wafting out of the ship.
My anger just turns to pure hunger and just what did you have? Just tell me the words. Tell me what you had.
I mean, if you have any credits, like we actually have a food truck on the ship now. I think that's new since you were here last.
I start patting myself. I'm like, no, I happen to be fresh out, and you can see as I pat, it's like you can see the holes that are worn, and what used to be called a suit and now can only be called as tatters. You know, just like, oh no, I happen to have left my wallet aboard, and I just dash past you towards the ship.
Amazing, going straight for the noodle shop. Yeah, it's the Horny Bunny is the name of the shop.
The Horny Bunny, okay.
Mhm. It's a nude shop.
Of course. How else would you eat noodles but nude?
It's true. That's true. That is one
It
of the rules.
doesn't sound great for like health code violations for a number of reasons, but I'm just imagining a lot like hot noodles is not a good way to go.
Yeah, it's also probably a little bit dangerous to eat naked. Just saying.
That's my thought there. No judgment if that's how you want to do it, if that's when you want to live your lifestyle. I just feel like, hot spaghetti on you, that's just not going to end well.
Or ramen.
No,
Either way.
that is going to end well. Like, that's how you want to eat ramen, actually. That is, I've read somewhere that that's the peak way to do it.
If you say so, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, so Breckett's just like casually laying some like clothes and stuff on a table where the food truck is, and just like walks away without saying anything. And also like 3 bars of soap.
After I emerged, even like being quote unquote washed, there's still just an air of, well, he's seen some stuff. My eye's a little bit rougher than the last time you saw me. The scars are real, and I have a limp. And unfortunately, while you put out new clothes, you didn't give me a new spacesuit, so it's just still that haggard one that's covered in almost mostly duct tape this time around. And I just start asking anybody who looks somewhat official, just, does this mean that I've been reinstated? Can I return home? What does this mean for my pension? Has anybody talked to my girlfriend? Is this, what year is it? The normal questions.
Yeah, as soon as Breckett hears that, he's just like ushering you away. Just like, nope, let's go. We got places to be. And yeah,
Of course.
we'll head to our next planet, because obviously this one is a bust, because all we found is Kim.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to stay here. It's awful.
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
I mean, I've heard that there's some like creepy spider-like things here that like attach to your face or something. Hopefully you didn't meet any of those.
You can see this, like the splinters on my face and like the blisters coming across. It's like, no, not at all. I'm definitely not enthralled by any sort of queen of this planet.
A little chest burster, nothing like that.
No, the spider does not control me. As you see, like, web in my eyes.
Amazing. All right. I just realized that I completely skipped the announcements, like a total professional.
Yeah, get into the announcements.
Yeah, so let me backtrack a little bit before we get to our first planet. So, got some announcements. I'm real good at this. Also, apparently you're being censored by Automod, I think.
I'm just trying to shill, okay? That's what I came here to do. Like, Shade has to make the money, and so do I.
That's true. I if I was better at doing the stream thing, could probably fix that, but I don't know how to do it.
That is okay.
Anyway, so real quick announcements, because, again, super professional. So our sponsor for today is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca, use the code THEVACTAIR, all one word, for 10% off your order at checkout. And Maggie's pick of the week is espresso, because Ryan, you suck at naming stuff. It should be espresso. Yeah, but apparently Maggie says, who doesn't want some go-go juice in their dice? So go check those out. Second announcement is the merch store at tinyurl.com/vacmerch. You can get all kinds of awesome shirts, a lot of accessories and stuff like that. The really cool Sploth shirt designed by our friend Emily. Third announcement is the schedule. So tomorrow, our Aphemus, Jesus, I coined that name and I already fucked it up. Appy and Artemis are over on DM Jeremy's channel for Legacy of Fire at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Monday, back here for Mistwalkers at 8:30. Wednesday is the Wasteland Saga over on Goodman Games Official. No guest this week, just the crew. Words are hard. Friday there might be Fixius, if the Blob can make it work while Artemis is in Canada, instead of just Diet Canada like normal.
Is that what you call something that far north? Just Diet Canada?
Wisconsin? Yeah. It's Diet Canada. But you're also in Diet Canada, so...
Right, that's what I was going to say. Does that qualify for Michigan?
Absolutely. I have to pause for 2 seconds so Artemis can cut, so... It's close enough to 2 seconds. Anyway, so yeah, we'll get back to the game, because I'm so good at this. And unsupervised, which is dangerous. Anyway, so let's see. You know what? Because Ken has been on this planet by himself for a minute, we're going to have you roll for our first discovery.
All right. D6?
Yes, sir.
I got a 2.
Awesome. And I got 3 for the number of cards we're going to draw. So 2 means we're going to put in some work. It is an arduous to get to discovery. And our first one is the Jack of Hearts. So hearts are ruins, a thing you're very familiar with at this point. But, it's a different planet. It's not the same ruins. It's other ones. And Jack is in the desert. So, hopefully you've hydrated a little bit since we picked you up.
I'm sure you didn't even check, right? You're just like, well, of course, if he can survive there, he's fine.
Yeah, it's like the dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, if you can survive there, you can survive anywhere. So
exactly.
What kind of
no worries
ruins?
that I've just been looking for where the water dispenser is this entire time.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So what kind of ruin does Ken discover?
I think it's definitely a lot of brutalist architecture, just a lot of heavy lines. And honestly, I'm just happy to see that it's not crumbling. It's ruins because everything is gone. It's dusted over from the desert. But as you wipe away the dirt and sand, it's still pretty intact. Scarily intact. In fact, it's like when you see a pyramid that's still whole inside, it hasn't been wiped away by the desert winds, and it's disturbing to any other person, but to Ken it's like coming home. Just lots of large pillars that reach up into darkness. It touches the top of the building somewhere, but you're not quite sure where.
When you say brutalist architecture, are we talking black, glossy, very phallic, not Alien at all?
Yes, and then a lot of hard lines, a lot of sharp corners, all 90-degree angles.
Even
just upsetting to walk around.
Even some weird angles. It's that shouldn't be possible in theory.
Yeah, you definitely can't walk up it. You don't think until you're lost in these, and you're like, "Am I in the back rooms? What is this?"
Yeah.
But for me, again, this is home basically. This is beautiful by comparison.
The delusions have fully taken hold. is what I'm hearing. Let's see what Breckett finds. Ooh. Unfortunately, I got a 1, which means that Emily and or Artemis has to draw this. Yeah, so I'm gonna, because I don't draw on this, I'm gonna paint us a word picture. And yeah, I'm gonna say it is like, it's very glossy and black and like alien, just like disturbing to the mind of anyone who's not already ridiculously disturbed by totally not being abandoned on a planet. And yeah, there are, like you said, several just towers that almost seem to loom down at us. It's very uncomfy, very like, maybe we should walk the other direction. But everywhere we go, we keep finding these ruins. Not the exact same ones, it's just like all over in this desert.
Plus, there's the idea that Mother doesn't want us to look somewhere else. I don't quite know what that means, as I eat a spider out of a corner.
Yeah. Totally Renfield right now. Yeah, so Breckett's just gonna be like, you know what, let's go somewhere else. Let's find something. Okay. This is another 1. So we're putting in so much work today. But I've got the 7 of clubs. So clubs are plants and other immobile forms of life. And 7 is near a volcano. So we're going from bad to worse. Yeah, Breckett's just like, Ken, why did you pick this planet? What?
Well, see, if you look at the star pattern and it shows you the constellations, do you see how it makes a web? I don't know why I picked this planet. Like he says, he goes into the dissertation and he's like, I wasn't speaking just now. I'm not quite sure why. And if you were to zoom out, we can't see it, but if you were to zoom out as we're heading towards the caldera of this volcano that's within this strange office building on this planet, you can see that it's the shape of a spider's mouth, with the maw and the different pincers.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and exhilarating, I think, is the word that other humans would use. I mean, people would use.
Yeah, as Ken is saying this and like making Breckett very uncomfortable, you might not notice because he's trying to be sneaky about it, but he's definitely like unclicked the latch for his pistol. Has his hand very, very close to it the whole time, just like, might have to put this guy down pretty soon. But everything's fine. If you want to roll an examination, and we'll oh, actually, you know what, I should probably tell us what kind of plant we find, huh? That would be helpful.
Sure.
Let's see. Near a volcano, I'm gonna say we find these like dark brown, almost black, but there's still like that element of brown to it, just roots coming out of the ground that there doesn't seem to be any kind of plant attached to them, and they are coming up out of the ground for some reason.
So roots rising up from the ground, but unattached to any sort of plant.
At least that we can see.
Got it. That's terrifying.
Totally fine. This is great. I love this planet. Yeah, so if you want to roll your examination, see what we can add to that.
4.
Okay. So you get to add a detail about them.
About the roots?
Mm-hmm.
I say, like, as they come up out of the ground, they have almost like slices in them. Like, it looks like, when you close your eyes, how you can kind of see that there's like a slit in the eyelid. That's how you can tell, like, it opens. So that they're almost sphincter-like that that there's something underneath these gashes in this root. What they open up to, we don't know because they're closed at the time. But it is unsettling to say the least, because that these roots do something else and open up to either accept or expel something.
Or both, who knows? Yeah, so Breckett's like, you know what? Once again, let's just keep moving. This planet sucks. Sucks big time. There's not even like a space Waffle House here.
We could open a space Waffle House here, and all we serve is flies.
You know, I think this planet violates all of the Waffle House codes. Believe it or not.
There are codes for Waffle Houses?
Allegedly. I do love the I forget what it's called, but it's like the Waffle House protocol or something like that FEMA uses, that like, if Waffle House is closed, everything is fucked. If Waffle House is open, it's okay.
I love that so much.
Right?
Like if even the Waffle House is closed, like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. That's when you know you're in trouble. So we're not leaving this volcano because we've got these 7 of hearts. So Ken finds another ruin near this volcano.
Oh man! So this looks a little bit more ruin-esque, right? Like, this is actually has architecture that's crumbling and falling apart, mostly from the heat, and it's turned what was stone into this like, obsidian. Like, so similar to what we saw the building of us made out of, but this is more natural. Like, it's just burned this dirt and sand into this obsidian, and they've formed around it. So this was like a natural chamber here. And unsettling as it is, as you get closer to the center of the antechamber, and you can see like the volcano exploding behind the obsidian that's like protecting us from the lava. There's a sculpture in the middle, like just like a statue of a woman shaped like a spider. And she's giving birth to, let me roll this dice 1 second. Someone that looks like us. Mostly me, but there's a terrifying person behind you.
Interesting. So we found Space Loft, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, 100%.
Amazing. We're totally not getting sued by WotC now.
Well, it's Space Loft. That's different than Loth.
That's true. Legally distinct.
And we spell it with a U.
Like you do, you know, when you're trying to get around copyright and silly things like that. Okay, so I got a 6 on my examination, which means I record how the feature changes in some way. I'm gonna say that the thing that it's giving birth to is, it seems like a statue at first, but as Ken gets closer to it, it almost seems to start melting. Like, it is dripping this black goo. And Breckett's just like, just like grabs you by the back of your clothes and is like, nope, we're leaving. We're out of here.
No, I have to be with Mother.
And Breckett just like radios to Rory on the ship. I was like, can you beam up Ken, but like whatever's inside of him, leave it here?
When you say, as like the beam goes, like it takes a while because we're so far down, I immediately start throwing up spiders.
Yeah, and
like
Breckett's just like stomping them, and like there's a really big spider egg that gets left behind when you're finally beamed away, and Breckett's just shooting it and then runs back to the ship.
That was just in my tummy as I look down at the feed.
But now you feel much better. You feel much more like yourself.
Which isn't this, like, you would think that I would feel better, right? But you forget, Kendall Shade is not in a great place in his life.
That's fair. Does he actually still have a girlfriend, or like, did she break up with him before he went on the mission in the first place, and he's just in denial?
So I found a funeral. So I got really, really sad originally. I saw the feed, and I saw like the people I know, and then I noticed that like no one was there that she knew. It was just people that I knew, and apparently, as I could see that she got married recently, it was just so I didn't contact her, which was bold because I feel like she could have just said, hey, we're done, but instead faking her death. So this was the first thing that I found as I rejoined the Rangers. So I would say no. I'd say Shade is single. I think technically, I think that's the appropriate term for it.
Maybe ready to mingle. Who knows?
Well, I think what you find disturbingly, even though he's no longer enthralled by the Spider Queen, you still see him just looking for spiders around the ship because he's lonely now.
Yeah, just looking for a new cult to join.
Sure. Rejoin the old one, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
As one does.
So as we head off to this next planet, why don't you roll to see how many cards we draw, and I'll roll for our travel.
I got 5.
Counting to 5 is hard. Let's see, so I got a 3 on our travel. I'm gonna say that Breckett and Reggie and Steve, who is our other dinosaur, I think we actually have 3, but we just forget about the third one a lot. They have made up this game called Find and Kill All the Spiders. And we all win, except for Ken. Ken loses because he's very sad whenever he realizes that's what we've done, is like exterminate every spider on the ship.
It's like Ripley in Alien 4 Resurrection, where she has the psychic connection now with
You mean the one that
spiders?
we pretend doesn't exist? That one, and also 3 to an extent. Because there's really only like 2, and then Ridley Scott made some more sort of kind of.
There are parts of Prometheus that I really like, that really work, and then there are some parts that really don't.
And Alien Covenant is pretty good, even if it's a little weird.
Yeah, it doesn't really add up, but it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's our game. It's a super fun game that doesn't make anybody uncomfortable at all, especially not Ken. And so we've got 5 cards. So I will. Let's see. I'll let you roll again, and we'll make our first discovery.
4.
Okay, so this is a sudden discovery, and it is the 4 of spades. So let's see, 4 is in a steep canyon, and spades are natural phenomena. So like crystals, lightning, mirages, fun stuff like that.
All right, so we found this in a canyon?
Yep, very suddenly. We came upon it very quickly.
Same planet? New planet.
New planet.
New
Maybe
planet.
a
Okay.
less depressing planet because Breckett picked it this time.
Yeah, I think as we approach this like canyon, what you're looking for is like, maybe like a dried up river, Grand Canyon style, but what you find is like a really festive riverboat type situation where this canyon kind of dries and then fills up with water again, and every single time they just fill it up with New Orleans style partying. You kind of ride the water as it drains out, and that's when the festivities stop, and we're hitting it just about midway. So you come through this canyon, and the bottom there's just like a halfway filled river, and with riverboats all along the side.
Perfect. Yeah, Breckett immediately. I know that they have a name. I'm just blanking on it. Those really, really long drinks. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes, the man, they're like a chute or a gutter. There's a name for it.
Yeah,
skis,
like that.
Slopes.
I don't know. Either way, it's ridiculous. Like it's almost as tall as he is, and he's having to like tip this whole thing back just to drink it. But yeah, he's got like 2 of those, one for each hand, and weirdly has a lot of like alien beads made from some kind of like strange substance we've never seen before. And he's just like, don't ask questions. You don't want to know.
But I do want to know. Like, can I have one, or?
I mean, if you go down that alley over there and just do what they tell you.
Oh well, that's kind of Shade's. That's his forte at this point in his life.
Shade is a little shady.
Well, the whole idea is that his mantra in his head is it can't be worse. So he goes down the alleyway.
1 to 5 months I was on that planet.
Exactly. And I rolled a 1 on the D20. So the fate of Shade is not looking great as he heads down that alleyway. When I come back, I do retrieve the drink. It's like dirtier than yours. Like yours like is a normal glass. It's like it looks sketchy, but like it's clean.
Right.
Mine was like they poured out some sort of bucket that was collecting water from like a cistern. And they just poured what was left over of a different drink in it and mixed so it matched the same color. And there's some like bugs in it and maybe blood that was in the bucket. You don't know. And also there's a large gash on my side, and it's been stitched up extremely poorly when I return.
So are you missing a kidney, or do you have an extra one now?
Yeah, I didn't understand the language as they were saying it, but I didn't have to pay for this drink, so I think it could be either one.
Possibly both.
You want
Who
some?
knows? No, bugs are really your thing. I'm good.
They're not bugs. They're arachnids, if you are referring to my friends. And when I say friends, you hear like a strange reverence for the spiders. As I do not try to swoosh around the drink to get around the bugs, full Renfield style, just like slurping it down.
Ken, the egg is gone, right? Like you don't have to keep eating bugs.
I immediately grab your shirt and like shove you up against the wall. The egg is never gone. Mother wouldn't abandon me like this.
The egg was inside you all along.
The real egg were the friends we made along the way.
And the friends are all spiders.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And they've never once abandoned me.
Yeah, Breckett's just like, you know what, here, and he like buys you a regular drink, and it's just like, let's just leave this one, and he like tosses it down the alley until it shatters.
I put in so much work for that.
Yeah, well, it's fine. You've got 3 kidneys now, allegedly.
Hopefully that's the way that the math checks out. We're gonna go with that.
Totally not like trafficking in organs at all for who knows what. It may not
Oh
even
my
be
god, I
human
didn't even
organs.
think of that. Like, it's like it's there to be retrieved later. Some sort of reverse Repo Man situation.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Or
no.
like the episode of Firefly where the dude's got like all the really fancy organs in him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Good
doubt
times.
that there's anything fancy about Shade and or that alley.
You do feel like your heart's beating really fast, and there might be like 2 of them also.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel a second heartbeat.
And it's not the egg this time.
No, but it does give me more comfort than I've had in a long time because it reminds me of the egg. And I also think there's a part of Shade that's like, well, it's part mother, part me, so like that strange spider child is like half siblings with my fern babies.
Oh man, that's terrifying. There's some kind of space app for that, I'm sure.
Oh no.
Reuniting the bastard children of Ken across the galaxy.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah, this episode, because we are unsupervised, has gone so far off the rails that didn't exist in the first place.
Reels are for poor people, okay?
Well, that is Breckett. He is poor. But space socialism, so like it's fine.
Sure.
So we're gonna put in some more work. I got a 1, as we've got the 5 of spades this time. So change of scenery slightly. 5 is in a treetop, and spades are still natural phenomena. So I'm gonna say at the top of this tree that it's actually still in the canyon. There's just like a random single tree. We find this crystal formation, and it seems to be glowing.
Does it look like Reggie at all? Or is it a different kind of crystalline structure?
As Ken points this out, it's like it kind of looks a little bit like Reggie. Brackett's like, you know what? It does. maybe that's like a Reggie egg.
And when you say egg, you had lost me when I was like, oh, it's crystals. Okay, that's nothing to do with spiders. But when you say egg, that really, really does perk up.
As Ken's like climbing up this tree trying to ingest it.
We must take care of the egg.
Yeah, why don't you roll your d6 and we'll see what Ken discovers as he gets real close to it.
6.
Ooh, okay. So you get to tell us how it changes in some way.
I think as like we start to approach, it starts to get hot. Like we can feel the heat emanating off of it, and then it begins to crack.
You know, Ken, maybe you should like step back from that.
I'm done listening to you. You've left me behind everywhere we go. You take the eggs from me, not again. Not this time. And I start to pull on the crack.
Yeah, what do you find inside?
I think there is some sort of crystalline dinosaur dog. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, like an alligator almost.
Yes, exactly. It's still small, like, even though like very, very large egg, but very, very small in comparison on the inside.
So more like a caiman.
What's that?
So more like a caiman.
Yes, exactly. What's the one from D&D? Help me out. Kobold. Which does remind me of the last time we adventured
I was
together.
gonna say, I think that happened last time.
I feel some sort of serendipity, destiny type situation here, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Shay would be honest with himself, but I feel like it doesn't end very well for Shay.
Yeah, seeing this little crystal kobold, Breckett's like, you know, maybe the mother was inside you all along. Maybe you're the mother.
And I crawl into the crystal.
Yeah, it's very, very uncomfortable, very tight.
No, that's uncomfortable for you. This is exactly what Shade needs. Shade needs a nice place to just relax away from civilization and
as we're like 20 feet away from the party. So far from, very removed from civilization inside of this
yes egg. Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah, so once Ken gets his little catnap in, Breckett just like leaves him there for a while. It's like, I'm just gonna go this way. He goes to get like 5 more drinks. But once Ken decides to come out of the egg, why don't we roll for our next discovery? See what other weirdness we can find.
I rolled a 6 again.
Okay. So this one we spot as we're resting. And yeah, you do spot it as you're resting because it is the 5 of diamonds. So it's still in a treetop, and diamonds are living beings. So other than this crystal kobold, some kind of other living being is now in this treetop while you're taking a little catnap in the egg.
I think we see these cat-like creatures that are humanoid in nature, but still closer to like an orangutan in intelligence, where they're protecting the crystal, but they're not doing it with such a high level of intelligence that they know exactly how all of this works and who we are and can speak a language. But they know that the crystal needs to be kept safe, and they know that we are disturbing this natural function.
So when you say we discover, I think what you really mean is Breckett sees this as he's coming back, while Ken is just like crashed still inside of the egg. Like Breckett comes back to see that these cat people are like taking it out of the treetop. They're carrying it above their heads, you know, like the Ewoks carrying C-3PO. And he's just like, oh shit. Okay. I guess I have to do something here. And so he's just gonna like run over to them and again, much like C-3PO, try to, well, he's intentionally trying to intimidate them and make them think he's something more powerful than he is. So I guess not totally like C-3PO, but he's just gonna like go over there, make himself as big as possible, because he does notice that they're only like 3 feet tall.
Yeah. Okay. So like it's like what you do with a bear, right? Like you make yourself big, loud.
If the bear was really small. If it was like a sun bear, you know.
Sure.
And he's just gonna like go over there, and he's also going to like fire off his gun 2 or 3 times just to like make a lot of noise and try to scare them. And odds or evens?
Odds.
Okay. Oh, it's a 5. Yeah, so he manages to spook them off, but they're still like, they're now in the crevices of this canyon, just kind of like watching us. You can see their eyes glowing because, you know, they're cats. So Ken is now probably awake because of the noise and the jostling and whatnot, but on the ground in this egg.
Yep, and I look at you with I wouldn't say reverence, because you no longer are of interest. These earthly matters don't matter. What matters is the crystal egg. And I look at you and nod as I curl back up in like the fetal position, and just like waiting. I'm like, you're either gonna take me out of this egg by force, or I'm going to ascend.
That is the logic there. Breckett just like,
it's a logic, I guess.
Yeah, it's something. Breckett just like tips the egg over, since it did crack open. He just like tips it so that you fall out of it. Like,
it's just like
hey.
kind of like like trying to get the rest out of a jar. Just
exactly. It's just a giant ketchup bottle, basically. Good times.
So you just have Shade moaning as we walk back away from the crystal.
And the whole way, those cat people are like following us. You know,
they're just trailing behind us.
They're trying to be stealthy, but you know, they're cats, so like they're still knocking stuff over and
just get pissed and like, no, fuck that, and they just start knocking shit over.
One of them gets the zoomies and starts like chasing a rock in front of us.
The red light coming from your radio, chasing it.
Yeah. Steve, who is, you know, our newest dinosaur, who hangs onto my bag frequently, possum style, with his, because he is basically like a stegosaurus almost, but like,
oh, I love it.
But he's like Godzilla, but with a stegosaurus spiky tail, basically. So he's like the T-Rex with the spines and stuff. Yeah, and so he just hangs off my backpack, but he managed to get a hold of a laser pointer, and so he's just like fucking with these cats. And having the time of his life.
Love to see it.
Meanwhile,
how much time do we have left? What do we got here?
We still got some time, and we've also got 2 more cards.
Awesome.
Yeah, Reggie is definitely trying to eat one of those cats, but they're all like smacking him with sticks. But it's fine because he's made of crystal, so like it doesn't really hurt him.
Sure.
Let's see. That one was your discovery, so we're going to put in some work again. We've got a 2. We've got the Queen of Clubs. So, Queen is in deep water. Clubs are plants and other immobile forms of life. So, Breckett's like, you know what? We really need a change of scenery. Let's get out of this canyon. Let's go do some diving, right? And as we're exploring it, we see all the standard sights, you know, the bioluminescent coral and weird fish and things like that. Eventually we find what looks like a gigantic glowing brain.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure Ken is loving this.
Just like some other entity to devote his life in servitude to.
Exactly. Breckett's like, oh, that's interesting. It on our scanners reads as a plant, but it looks like not a plant.
could be the center mass of a plant. Like, we don't know what happens when plants get this big or evolve differently. And you hear this like strange string of somewhat logical and like discernible educated guesses on this plant brain. And as Shade kind of looks away for a moment, and then you see the real Shade that you know, which is just like staring at it, like, oh, look at the brain, it's pretty.
What was that? That was weird.
Well,
like, did you become a botanist
technically,
at some
when
point?
you hired me, I was or when I joined up, basically, I was going for my PhD, but the world had other plans for me.
Which
And he
world?
just stares off into space.
Oh, that world. Gotcha. Yeah, I got it. It was the Fern planet. I know. That really messed you up, buddy.
When you have a reverence for plants, and then your children have plants, you start to rethink what you're gonna do with your life.
Some of your children.
How long did I cuddle with that crystal egg? Can that be claimed as?
Well, we're not going to ask questions.
No. Not questions that we don't want the answers to, at least.
Exactly. So, speaking of questions, why don't you see what you can examine of this brain plant?
Do I roll for this, or
Yeah.
do I just say what I see? What's
Roll, yeah, you roll, and then we'll see what kind of prompt we get.
that? 2.
Okay, so paint us a word picture, because now Emily or Artemis has to draw this.
Okay. For what I see of this brain.
Mhm.
So what I see, it's like definitely chlorophyll filled. So it is plant-like. It is green in nature, and the brain itself is filled with lots of veins with different liquids running through it, and we see synapses firing. Like, it is active. It is moving. How far away from the canyon are we? Is this a different planet? Same planet?
Same planet, but we're deep underwater, so, reasonably far.
So miles away, we see that the brain synapses are firing with the party as it rocks, and like almost like it's going to the same beat. And whatever it's doing seems to be influencing the water in those green beverages that we were drinking before.
Interesting. Terrifying.
So depending on how much you have in your tummy at the time, you feel it rocking on the beat of these synapses firing.
Weirdly, this is giving me some flashbacks to the last time I played Mutant Crawl Classics, and it did not end well for my character, as his stomach exploded from the stuff that he ingested. So I, as a person, not Breckett, am having some, terrifying feelings, but Breckett's having a good time.
Everybody seems to be having a good time from this drink.
Yeah, it's weird because the drinks were green and this thing's green, and Breckett's just like, you know what, we'll move on. This is probably unrelated and unimportant in every possible way.
I love Breckett's ability to just, I don't want to deal with the repercussions of this.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance is not a thing for him. He just ignores it. So we'll have you roll for our last card, and we'll see what kind of discovery we get.
You got it, Captain. That's a 1.
A 1. Okay, so another arduous journey. We're going to have to do a lot of work to get there. Okay. We've got the Jack of Spades. So back to another desert, a different desert, and some kind of natural phenomena.
Do I describe it, or do you describe it?
That's all you.
Desert phenomenon?
Yep.
So, same planet, different planet.
Same planet as, like, the party and all that. Different
Got
planet
it.
from the desert we were in before.
Got it. So what I think we see is one of those desert storms that have so much dust and debris flying through it. It goes so high, it actually connects to a real storm above it. So you see lightning striking through all of this dust and debris. And the unfortunate part for us, I think, or the scary part, is that the lightning is the same color green.
Ooh. Is that like the brain of the planet, you think?
I think it maybe it could be related, or as you are wont to do, we could just assume completely unrelated, and we walk away.
Yeah, you say that. So, like, I assume because we do see this desert storm, which is totally unrelated to oil in any way. I assume that we're gonna stay on the ship, so as not to get, torn to shreds by whatever like rocks and things are in it, or just smothered by being covered in sand thrown around. Unless that's what Ken's into. I don't kink shame.
I feel like he's more spider related at this point.
Or crystal egg related,
100%. Yeah, you get it.
He's actually in two cults, but they meld together somehow instead of competing.
Of course. As most people have with competing ideologies, like Christian crystal girlies who love looking at tarot cards and their astrologies.
Yeah.
It's like those are all competing things, but like it just kind of works,
Somehow, that cognitive dissonance doesn't exist for them either.
No, and you know what? I support it. Okay, I'm not here to shame like you, Rick. All right, I'm here for whatever they need, and so is Shade. And I think on on that note, that's when I would remember two things. Number one, that I have an extra kidney and heart beating inside of me, that are also beating to the beat that is emanating from this strange desert storm that's unrelated to oil. And number two, there were spiders in my pocket back when we were touching that crystal, and I think if we were to look back at the crystal, if the camera were to move away from us and cut away to the end credits scene, you'd see that several spiders are moving this crystal to a different location.
And I feel like they've also become encased in crystal themselves.
Of course, crawled inside, moving it. So whatever's happening there, who could tell? But it's definitely it's all coming together.
Yeah, good thing we've got that convenient drone that follows us around. Breckett's gonna do some examining. I got a 2, so boy, I don't know how they're gonna draw this one, but they're going to, because those are the rules. I'm gonna say, yeah, maybe Breckett had the drone and he was just like kind of keeping an eye on that egg, and sees those spiders, and he's just like now playing a video game. At least that's what Ken thinks he's doing. He's like playing Galaga or something, but he's just like shooting a laser at all of these spiders, trying to eradicate them. It's like, yep, this is a fun game. You want to try it?
No, I don't like video games that aren't spider related.
It's perfect. There are spiders in this.
Do I play as the spider?
No, you shoot them.
No. See, I don't appreciate that. It's against my religion.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna take you to the hospital now, buddy.
Is this about where we're gonna end on that?
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, because you're looking out for me, you're looking out for Shade, you're gonna drop him off at the hospital, but that's actually the worst place you could take him, because that's exactly where these traffickers would be looking for their organs. So as you drop me off, wipe your hands of me, and go, job well done, as you're wont to do. As the doors close behind you, you just see Shade trying to fend off against all these people looking for these organs, as they were waiting for the drop-off point. And even my summoned spiders cannot save me from them taking back what is owed.
Yeah, so like, as the camera pans away from that nightmare scene, you just see that Rory and Breckett are in the cockpit of the Griffin, teaching 2 of these little cat people how to fly the spaceship. because we secretly adopted like a whole litter of them. So
And you have to. They were so adorable.
it's true. Actually, like the entire
And-
pack,
yeah.
the entire pack just like snuck onto the ship while we weren't paying attention, and now they live with us.
But I think that they would feel safe once they saw Reggie.
As he tries to eat them constantly, yeah.
Sure, but that's part of their life cycle.
He is their natural predator. That is true.
Which is just so heartbreaking when you think about the fact that they protect them until they're born and then they get eaten by them.
Well, he tries, but like Breckett has a squirt bottle, and that's pretty strong deterrent for Reggie.
That's enough.
Good times. Well, yeah, that's our last card, and because we are again unsupervised today, I don't have the power to raid, so I guess that's where we're gonna wrap this session. I'm gonna kick us over to the exit here in a second, but if you have anything you want to plug last minute before we do, now's the time.
I would love to shill away. So, even though the chatbot won't let me post it, head on over to zoop.gg and claim your copy of Tokyo Fire. You still have 6 days left. It ends on the 16th. You can back it in any number of tiers. You can do a $5 PDF and get your copy when it ships in December. You can get a $10 physical copy. There's tons of cool variant covers. I did one. That's the one I would recommend because, it's cool and pretty.
It is pretty cool.
But thank you. But there are lots of other cool ones, and there's a nice little tip jar there. It's sitting at $69, so I'm not going to recommend you tip because that's just awesome.
Right.
But
it's very nice.
if you want to, yeah, thank you. You definitely can. There's lots of other cool bundles, so go ahead and check that out. And if you really, really like hearing me talk about TTRPGs like we did here, you can head on over to campykillcreations.com and check out the Cave Trolls, which is another podcast that I host, which does TTRPG news every single week with 2 of the wonderful hosts from the Slovenly Trolls.
Fantastic.
And check out TikTok. I'm Can't Be Killed Comics on TikTok. That's where I do all my social media.
And the Slovenly Trolls. I don't think Cave Trolls has its own TikTok, but maybe one day we'll bully Alyssa into doing that.
Possibly, because the thing is, so the Cave Trolls was just created so people could get more Slovenly Trolls in their diet. That was the main reason. I was like, you do a monthly show, we need more of that. People really like you. What can we do? And I was like, I could host like a news show if you'd like. And so that's how that came across. So I don't know if we could bully them into doing more content for it, but we could try. We could certainly try.
I mean, I'm always trying. So. And I think the only thing that I've really got to plug is tomorrow over on my channel, we're going to be talking about Werewolf the Apocalypse and character creation in that game, because the 5th edition book just came out and it's very pretty, and I didn't bring it with me today because I don't know, I'm just like that. So anyway, come check us out, roughly the same start time as this, over on the Hampod channel. So anyway.
Heck yeah, go do that. And check out One Baby, One Broadsword, you cowards.
It's true. It is technically free, but you could pay me money.
But you could pay money. And, if you can pay money, why wouldn't you?
That's true. That's very true. People other than you paid me money for it, which is weird. And I didn't expect that to happen.
It's normally just me handing you money? Is that what you're saying?
Totally.
That's the friendship we have, is we just handed a $5 bill back and forth.
That is, both the struggle and the joy of having friends who make content that you enjoy, is you just give each other money back and forth and it never goes anywhere.
That's okay. That $20 bill has seen some shit, okay? That's how you know it's a good friendship. But thank you so much for having me, Rick. I appreciate it.
Ken had it for a while on the Spider Planet,
Still has it. Still have it.
But yeah, I mean, you are always welcome. But I'm going to kick us over to our exit, or our outro, and we will see you all next time.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.